welcome back to the Big Red Dot, where we bring you the best of the best from the east to the west. I am your host, Unrested, with all the J-News, Tuber News, and J-Facts that you requested. Our first story deals with the Streamies. If you don't know what the Streamies are, they are pretty much the Oscar or Grammy for a YouTuber in the YouTube world of fame and claim to whatever channel you may host. Now, one of our big winners was Philip DeFranco, who I think puts out one of the best shows on YouTube. Another one was FouseyTube, who I think puts out one of the worst shows on YouTube. During his speech, Fousey decided to say that he made it through this year with quite a struggle as being one of the most hated YouTubers in all of YouTube, all because he exposed fake pranks and punched Rice Gum in the face. Which he completely failed to mention is that most of those fake pranks were his own fake pranks, and also that punching Rice Gum in the face thing, totally fake too, in which he tried to quote-unquote expose drama channels, when really every single drama channel out there just said, this is obviously a fake fight, I don't know why they're faking this. Lame Fousey. On top of it, another lame person that came up on stage was Vitali, who just pretty much ran up on stage uninvited, then pulled down his pants to reveal just his boxers. He didn't even fully streak, and then tried to mumble some stuff out, shout some stuff out, and just pretty much got booed off stage. Meanwhile, he's busy failing at YouTube, losing tons of subscribers, and obviously after last night we saw that he's failing at life too. It's pretty bad. Our last bit of YouTuber news deals with Leafy, who tried to make a half-hearted apology to Watch Your Mouth, in which he said, "Nick, I'm so sorry for not paying you enough. I was rushed at the time and didn't think to pay you more. If we could just meet up on Skype, I'll help pay you off properly." Meanwhile, never actually mentioning his YouTuber name while apologizing. And that was the main thing that Watch Your Mouth wanted, was a shout out. A shout out can get you far better paid than anything Leafy obviously will, because you'd actually get the promotion to up the level of your channel to get the proper level of subscribers that you deserve for helping out a 1 million+ subscriber channel. That's what Watch Your Mouth was looking for, not a half-hearted apology saying, "I'll pay you a little bit more than 20 bucks, man." Anyway, let's move on to the J-News. Our first story starts with a bit of a sad one, as we follow the case of a 32-year-old woman who was stabbed to death in a convenience store in Shizuoka. Today I've written down some of the details just to make sure I don't really get anything wrong. I feel like this is more of a sensitive case, so I should really be on point with all the details that I'm giving. The incident happened at 1:30 a.m., during which time the victim, Saori Sugiyama, entered a convenience store seeking help. And I want to just mention the clerk in this story. They don't say the name, but I want to give props to this clerk, because the man actually opened up the counter and let her come behind the counter and hide there to try and protect her from the ex-boyfriend who was stalking her at the time. So the clerk went out of his way to really try and help this poor woman. And even after that, when the ex-boyfriend stormed into the store, he tried to stop him once again, got knocked down to the floor. I'm guessing it was either a young high school kid or maybe an old man that he was so easily knocked to the floor. And sadly, Saori was stabbed to death. Now, I wanted to say that I give props to that store clerk, because he actually really did as much as he possibly could with the job that he had to help this woman, whereas when she went to the police, and it says here that she went there 4 times seeking help, they did nothing. They concluded, quote unquote, it was not an emergency threat, and that because she currently had a lawyer dispute dealing with the ex-boyfriend, that was really more of a legal matter that she needed to handle personally. People have written to me before about the situation of stalking in Japan and whether or not it's handled properly, and for the most part, it's not. I don't know if you remember, but not too far back, there was a idol, a woman who played guitar, I forget what her name was now, but she had been stalked for a long time by a stalker and constantly reported him to the police. And he stabbed her to the point that she went into a coma. We still don't know her condition because the newspaper has not been reporting. But she had also gone to the police multiple times and asked for help. And of course they did nothing, and now she ended up in a hospital, and this woman ended up dead. Great job. Our next story is a little bit of an older one, but I had been recently getting a lot of emails about it. I think this is because a lot of times the Japanese news is delayed in a lot of Western countries that ask me all different types of questions about the different stories they read. This is dealing with a sushi restaurant here in Osaka, where I live, that decided it was a good idea to put huge amounts of wasabi into gaijin servings of sushi. Now, if you don't know what gaijin is, it's pretty much a Japanese word for foreigner. So anytime a foreigner would come into this shop, they decided to put double the helping of wasabi into the sushi that they were serving at the time. Now, the restaurant actually got called out for doing this by a customer who was foreign but spoke fluent Japanese and started to check why his sushi was so full of wasabi and realized that his Japanese counterpart sitting at the same table actually had only a single serving of the wasabi that he himself had double the serving of. Now, he called them out for this. It went to the newspaper. They made a full apology. And people asked me, they said, Scott, do you think this is just like a miscommunication? Do you think somebody asked for double the wasabi? Do you think this place was being racist and trying to scare gaijin off by not going to their restaurant due to the fact that the wasabi burned them from head to toe? Man, you know, I put a lot of thought into this one. And so what I did last night when I was researching this story, I actually went to a sushi store that's right below my apartment. And I asked for my first round of sushi, because you usually get multiple rounds. I asked for it to be doubled on wasabi, and they kind of gave me like the raised eyebrow, like, what, are you sure? You see, a lot of times they'll actually ask you even if you want wasabi on it, even if you're a Japanese person. There's a couple ways that it's served in which they automatically have wasabi with it, and there's certain types in certain places that do that, but usually the chef has a certain way that they enjoy serving it, and the patrons that go there know that already. This was a chain place, so they don't have like a set way in which they serve stuff or a known way. So this place was going out of their way to go beyond what their set way of serving is, which is to ask whether or not you want wasabi added and doubling the portion. So that's what I asked for and wanted to test it myself. And I love wasabi. Like, I put a ton on. Like, I put a pretty good amount, probably more than most Japanese people even. I mix it in my soy sauce even. And this was actually too much. To put double the serving is almost a teaspoon of wasabi. Okay, I want you to try and get some wasabi and put a teaspoon in your mouth and see how much that burns. I mean, my nostrils are just like burning up. There's tears coming out of my eyes. I'm like, yeah, this is like way too much. I had to eventually scrape some off the last couple just to make sure I could eat it. And I don't know, was this place going out of their way to try and scare gaijin off from eating there? I don't know if I would blame the entire chain for doing that. I might say that perhaps the staff at this store thought it was some kind of funny prank, or maybe it was just high school kids working there who were like, hey, let's screw with people. I mean, think about restaurants in America. If you're bitchy to a waitress or a waiter, sometimes they'll do horrible stuff to your food. Maybe some of these gaijin were doing stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know the full story. They apologized. And then actually Twitter and Nichan forum users got actually pissed off that they apologized and said, you shouldn't have to apologize. This is not a big deal. Those gaijin should just get used to double servings of wasabi. Which, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm going to leave it up to you in the comments to let me know what you think of this situation. Were they being racist and trying to scare gaijin off with double servings of wasabi? Or were they just thinking, gosh, you know what they might like to try? A lot of wasabi. Alright guys, it's me and you time to talk it out. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what's coming up. Just finished Osoroshi Saturday last night. I put together a very streamlined show. I think I've got that thing down to a total formula now, and it's one of the cleanest and best shot Osoroshi Saturdays I think I've ever done so far. Not trying to toot my own horn, I'm just comparing it to the old ones I used to make, and they were a little bit choppy and grainy, and the filming wasn't so good. I've gotten a lot better over time. And I'm able to mix the sound properly. I've got proper mic set up. So those of you who do love Osoroshi Saturday, it's still set to come out this Saturday. I think you will enjoy it. Like I said, it has one of the scariest stories I have ever researched, and it is a true-to-life one, which makes it, I think, far more horrific. On top of that, a lot of people actually have been asking me if I would not end the channel if I started a Patreon and they donated money. Guys, that is so awesome that you would even suggest I start a Patreon and you would donate money to me. I'm kind of completely flattered that people just want to open up a Patreon. And some people were even saying, Scott, I will start the Patreon site and even help you set up the bank account and everything. I know how to do this stuff, and I appreciate all the help, and I appreciate people asking to donate. And it's really, for me, it's not even about the money. I live pretty well. I make a pretty good living. You can see from the inside of my house, and you know, even the camera and microphone and stuff that I'm using now, I do all right. I do all right. I'm not hurting for money. What would be I guess, a bigger payment to me. If you really wanted to show your love for the channel, if you absolutely were like, Scott, I will do anything to keep this channel going. If that's really your thing and you are looking to donate money, instead of money, can I just ask for a little bit of time instead? Could you please, if you get the time, share this, comment, subscribe, do anything you can to get it out there on the internet. That's the biggest thing that would really, really, really help this channel, and I would love you so much if you could do those things. Ask your friends to subscribe, ask your families to subscribe, ask anyone you know to subscribe. Post this on Reddit because it's really hard to get stuff posted on Reddit for me. For some reason, I struggle with trying to get stuff posted on there. I need to have like a certain level of points or something like that. And other sites like Tumblr, Instagram, I use those a little bit, but I don't completely understand how to spread the word on there. If someone could help me manage things like that, help me spread it on Facebook, any little bit of that stuff you can do is the biggest payment in the world to me. I will love you forever for that. That being said, no matter what, whether you do that or not, whether you take the time or do that, if you are just watching this every day, commenting and subscribing, that's all. That's all I can ask, man. And thank you so much for doing that here on The Big Red Dot. Have a good one.
Godsmack is how the wind feels on the face of Mike Winfield on his way home from the bar where he works nights, the worst nights. Don't nobody tip right. And between the marriage office and the fist fight.